The band he hired rocked.
Did Mr. Phillips pay you?
He wrote 2 checks to us.
Then he rolled.
Both checks bounced?
Can you not say the word bounced again, please?
They were bounced.
Time to face the music.
I was doing this for charity.
He's not doing it for charity. You knew that there were insufficient funds. Do you know that's a felony?
This is Judge Judy. Musician Daniel Hernandez is suing event promoter Lawrence Phillips for money owed for a performance and bank fees.
Judge, this is case number 23 on the calendar in the matter of Hernandez versus Phillips. Parties have been sworn in. You may have a seat.
Mr. Hernandez, it is your claim that the defendant owes you the balance of a contractual obligation that you had with him for you to perform with a band at a venue where he was hosting an event.
That's correct.
According to you, you did the work. Mr. Phillips gave you 2 checks. Both checks bounced. He did pay you some money. He still, according to you, owes you several $1,000s. And you've tacked on the bank fees for the return checks,
Correct.
which was about $30.
Yeah.
So far,
Yes.
Is that, in a nutshell, what it is?
Yes.
You indicate in your complaint, Mr. Hernandez, playing with a band. What is your day job?
I work for a HVAC company.
And how long have you been doing that?
18 years or so.
And how long have you had this little side hobby of the band?
This particular band, about 3 years, but I've been playing my whole life.
And did you form this band?
It was a conglomeration of 2 bands that we were all friends, and we just played one time together as a favor at an event in Riverside, and we just thought, this is pretty amazing. Let's keep doing this, and we've been together ever since.
How did you meet the defendant?
Through a mutual friend.
Can you tell me what month and year that was?
A couple years ago, not the month exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
In this gig that you got involved with, can you tell me when you were supposed to perform with your band and what the financial arrangement with the defendant was?
The actual performance was September 28th of last year, and we were to provide the band and also to contract for the staging and the lighting and the sound.
Staging, lighting, and sound?
Yes.
Well, let's deal with that part of the claim first, because that's also in this claim.
Sure.
You did contract with the staging, lighting, and sound. How much was that?
In my part, the staging, lighting, and sound was apparently $4,000 altogether. However, I took care of $2,000 for our sound that head bounce that Mr. Phillips made out.
And that's your witness?
Correct. Oscar.
So he has proof of a bounce check from Mr. Phillips as well. And that was for the September 28th?
Well, yeah, because it was that same date. Yeah, the same performance.
Okay. And what were you supposed to be paid?
$1,500.
So the band was supposed to be paid $1,500 for the evening?
Correct.
Did the band perform that evening?
We did.
Did Mr. Phillips pay you?
He wrote 2 checks to us.
And in what amount were those 2 checks?
In the amount of $750 each.
Did he give you those 2 checks before or after the performance?
He gave me 1 check before, about a day or so before the performance, and then another check the day of the performance.
Before the performance?
Correct.
Do you have proof of their being dishonored by your bank?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
Okay.
And that it was dishonored?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Band deposit, balance $750, and it was returned. Where's the other check? Okay, why were the checks returned, Mr. Phillips?
First of all, Your Honor, this event...
Not first of all. No, my words. Why were the checks returned?
They were returned because there was the event.
Just a second.
And I was waiting for sponsorship
Mr. Phillips,
to cover the checks. Yes,
Mr. Phillips, Mr. Phillips.
Yes,
You wrote checks on a bank when you knew that there were insufficient funds.
No, that's not.
Do you know that's a felony? Do you know
I've
that
never
that's
had
a felony?
a felony in my life, and I understand what you're saying.
What I'm telling
this
you,
event was
what I'm
for a
telling you,
charity
Mr.
event.
Phillips,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. It's not important to me.
Oh, okay.
What the event was for. You hired the plaintiff for a certain fee, which was $1,500.
Yes.
And you gave him 2 bad checks. You can't do that.
I'm aware of that, and I do apologize.
Good. That's
to him.
perfect. Great. So, Mr. Hernandez, Mr. Phillips did give you some money, correct?
Correct.
How much did he give you? Eventually.
Right. $950, $350 in one payment, and $600 in another one.
So he owes you $550.
There is one other check that I had that was no good as well from him. There's a total of 3 bad checks.
Well, how much were you supposed to be paid? You showed me 2 checks.
Correct.
One said $750 deposit, and it said balance $750.
Correct.
That's the evidence that you produced.
Check was another check that was paid to Oscar, and the check wasn't any good. So it was another check for $2,000. And because I deal with Oscar, I told him, okay, give the check to me and I'll try to work it out with LP, Mr. Phillips. And so he did, and this check was also no funds available. So I actually paid Oscar.
So you covered him.
Mm-hmm.
Did Mr. Phillips agree to reimburse you for that?
Correct. He did.
Well, that's what I'm asking you. When did Mr. Phillips agree to reimburse you for that?
In conversations after the event.
Well, tell me about the conversations. Then I'm going to ask Mr. Phillips.
In my conversations, they were basically promises to pay with different dates.
No, he owes you, clearly he owes you $550.
Right.
The only question is, does your friend, who is your witness, have to pursue Mr. Phillips on his own? Or did Mr. Phillips agree to you covering that check and he would pay you? And I want to hear about that.
It was a verbal conversation that we had.
Well, tell me when and where it took place.
Probably
on the phone, in person?
Yes, on the phone. And we just made an agreement that he would pay everything that he owed me, including that.
He paid you $950. He only owes you $550. Mr. Phillips, did you write another?
I presented a check. Once again, this is a charitable event, and I had sponsors that promised me to give me money, and I wrote that check with the intent that I was going to get the money that night.
Mr. Phillips, try just to pay attention to my question.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you and Mr. Hernandez agree that he would make good this check for $2,000? I'm going to repeat that. That's a very simple question. Did you and Mr. Hernandez agree that Mr. Hernandez would make good on this bounce check to the stage guy for $2,000?
Can you not say the word
Did
bounced check again, please?
Well, they were bounced. They were the insufficient funds. That's a bounced check.
Okay, I understand.
Did you agree with Mr. Hernandez? Did you ask him to make good on that check and you would pay him?
He requested that of me, yes.
On the phone?
On the phone.
Did you agree to do that?
Because, yes, I was expecting sponsorship money to come in, and it didn't, and I agreed.
So then the answer is you did ask Mr. Hernandez to cover
He told me what he was going
to... The $2,000 check. And you said, then I will give it to you when I get my sponsor's money.
Those are my exact...
You owe him $25.50. Judgment for the plaintiff. Oh, excuse me. Do you have proof of your bank charges?
Yes.
I'd like to see them. Put them up.
You don't even want to see what I was going to show you about the stage?
No, I don't. I don't like people who write checks on bad accounts.
Well, no, it was not a bad account. It was a good account. My sponsor just didn't give me the money. I was doing this for charity, for the Gay Pride, Whittier Gay Pride. I did it pro bono, trying to get sponsorship, Your Honor.
You can do it.
Actually,
He's not doing it for charity.
I know he wasn't.
He's not doing it for charity. That's your charity. Okay, just a second. So how much did they charge you?
They actually charged me
$5. Oh.
Yeah, that on one, and then...
And? The other?
That one.
So they charged you $10 altogether?
Yes.
Is that correct?
It is correct.
$25.60. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you. By the way, nice meeting you.
This case is concluded.
And you.
Parties are excused.
Wrote the checks. They were bad.
I wrote those checks on, it's called a faith check.
Took them. Thought they were good. A couple days later, got...
And all of a sudden, it didn't happen, but...
Noticed that they bounced.
Oh, you can take faith to the bank, but you got to have a little bit more than faith. You got to have that money in the hand, baby.
And from then on, it was just...
He's an incredible performer, and
Can you pay?
it happened the way it happened. I'm sorry it did.
It was amazing performance. My band remix, incredible.
Thank God it's over.
All parties in the matter of Anders versus Warfield. Step to the podium, please.
Derek Anders Jr. is suing his former friend, Trevin Warfield, for stealing his stimulus money from his bank account.
Mr. Anders,
Yes.
you and Mr. Warfield were friends?
Yes, before.
And at some point, according to your papers, you received a stimulus check from the government in the amount of $1,200.
Yes, on April 27th.
How were you advised that you got that check?
Through the IRS, on my Cash App.
Do you have that Cash App with you so that I can see it?
It's an app. I have it on right here.
I'd like to take a look at it. Just put it up on the evidence screen.
For sure.
Thank you. Is that the only proof that you had that you got this stimulus check?
Yes. I also have a direct deposit of $1,200.
Of what?
A direct deposit in the same Cash App as a Cash App?
I'd like to see it.
Okay, for sure.
Yes. In what bank was it deposited?
It's Cash App is an app on your phone. That's basically the bank that I was deposited from.
Is that the way you pay your taxes, sir?
I don't think so, no. I wouldn't use Cash App for my taxes.
Well, how did...
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your Honor, we were friends for 8 years. I've never stolen a dime from him.
Mr. Warfield?
Yeah.
He's going to tell me what evidence he has that you took his stimulus money. I'm breathless, Mr. Anders.
Derek Anders Jr. says former friend Trevin Warfield appropriated stimulus money from his bank account.
Well, how did they know to find you to give you $1,200?
Yeah, I used my routing and account number and
confused.
put it on the website.
So you went on the IRS website.
Yes.
Speak to me. Talk to me. I have to understand how this works.
Yeah, for sure. I went on the IRS website.
And
I put in my routing and account number, and then they sent the money over on Cash App, on my Cash App. And so, yeah.
what kind of work do you do?
I'm an entrepreneur.
What does that mean? I mean, I know what the word means. In what way are you an entrepreneur?
An entrepreneur. I'm a singer and songwriter, model, mogul, dancer, performer. I go, different places to try to make a living for myself. So basically, it's just, it's like entrepreneurship, like going out and doing what you want to do for your life and not having to worry about, actually.
Well, tell me the things. Who do you live with?
Right now,
Who is your family?
Different people. I have, different family members. So many different family members that I have. No,
I want to know who you're living with now.
Right now, I'm where I'm living. Well, with my mom or my mom, my stepfather. I have a stepbrother. I have so many relatives.
That's not a hard question, sir.
Yeah, for sure. It's just a personal question.
Who are you living with? And you said family. It's not a personal question if you're living with family. I just ask you what family you're living with. It's not a hard question. I live with my mother. I live with my brother. I live with my sister. That's not a hard question, sir.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just trying to find out who my players are. Okie dokie. And according to you, and this evidence that you brought into me, you say that Mr. Warfield somehow appropriated $1,100 of your $1,200 stimulus money that was put in the bank by the IRS. Because I assume you did that because you are currently undomiciled, so they can't send you a check. So you went on the website to say, just put it in this PayPal or what is it, Cash App, whatever. So tell me what makes you believe, what evidence you have, Mr. Anders, that Mr. Warfield, who was once your friend, took $1,100 of your stimulus check.
Yeah, we were
from your
close friends.
Entrepreneurships.
Your Honor, we were...
Yeah.
I've never stolen a dime from him.
That's untrue, Your Honor.
Mr. Warfield.
Yes.
He's going to tell me what evidence he has that you took his stimulus money. I'm breathless, Mr. Anders.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I received threatening text messages from him, and Mr. Anders was just calling me all types of names and things like that, and it was ridiculous. And it just got really insane. I had to block him and cut off all communications with him.
Well, what did he say to you when he called 2 months later?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Derek Anders Jr. says former friend Trevin Warfield appropriated stimulus money from his bank account.
So tell me what makes you believe, what evidence you have, Mr. Anders, that Mr. Warfield, who was once your friend, took $1,100 of your stimulus check.
Yeah, we
from
were
your
close friends.
Entrepreneurships.
Your Honor, we were friends for 8 years. I've never stolen a dime from him.
Yeah.
I've never stolen a dime from him.
That's untrue, Your Honor.
Mr. Warfield.
Yes.
He's going to tell me what evidence he has that you took his stimulus money.
Evidence right here. It says this is the name that he goes by online. I guess it's called Little Hoochie Daddy. And we've been knowing each other for so long. That's his username on, I guess, Instagram or even on Cash App. That's the name that he goes by. And it says I have more evidence right here that says that he took it. It says payment to Little Hoochie Daddy. So you know that he took the money. It says payment to himself. I used his phone. He got my login information and just basically used my account. So, I mean, you know, when you think you're friends with somebody and they use your account and then they just, you know, I guess he sent it to himself when I didn't know. I don't know. He logged in without my knowledge. That's the reason why I'm here. So my money was stolen.
I know the reason you're here, sir. I'm looking for proof that he took your money.
Right here it says payment to...
I see it. That's not proof he took it.
Well, through Cash App, you can send it to yourself. So, I mean...
Mr. Warfield,
yes,
did Mr. Anders confront you about taking his money?
Mr. Anders did confront me. He confronted me 2 months later after the fact. I received threatening text messages from him on July 4th. I just landed in Florida, and Mr. Anders was just calling me all types of names and things like that, and it was ridiculous. I was at the airport arguing with him, and it just got really insane. I had to block him and cut off all communications with him.
Well, what did he say to you when he called 2 months later?
He was like, Trevin, I seen you're this, you're that. And I'm like, Derek, I have no reason to steal anything from you. We've been friends for 8 years. And for him to just accuse me of stealing his money is just completely ridiculous, Your Honor. I have no reason to steal from anybody.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. Warfield?
I'm a nursing assistant.
You traveled from California to Florida?
No, I went to Florida for the 4th of July to go visit an old friend. I have a vacation house there, and so I went there to do some remodeling on it, some painting.
How long have you had the house there?
Since 2014.
Do you own that house in Florida?
No, I don't own it. Mm-mm.
Who does own it?
My friend owns it.
You said you were doing remodeling.
Yeah, I was helping him paint.
How long were you in Florida?
I was in Florida from July 4th through July 6th. Monday morning, I flew back to San Diego.
So you were just there for 1 day?
I was there for 2 days. I got there Saturday, July 4th, and flew back home July 6th.
And you helped him paint in that 1 day?
I helped him paint, yeah, 1 day, just 1 day. It was like a Sunday fun day project we did.
It's a long trip.
Well, it was worth it to see friends and things like that. So some things you just do for friends.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored. Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. Mr. Anders, you have any other proof that Mr. Warfield took your money?
That's all besides his username, I mean.
Okay. I don't know whether he took your money or whether he didn't take your money. He says he didn't. I'm not satisfied with the proof that you
I also have another,
some
more proof.
Well, then tell me. I'm ready to say goodbye to you.
The same proof that I showed you before is
Don't show me the same proof you showed me before. Don't show me the same proof you showed me before. I saw your proof. You said you also have other proof.
Yeah, it was like it says, the 28th, the money was stolen. And on the 27th, the money was deposited.
We're done.
So, okay, yeah, obviously.
We're done. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
You thought it would be fun to start a YouTube channel.
He wasn't paying me half for all of the things that I put into the channel.
This was her first priority. This YouTube channel was her first priority.
No.
Judge Judy.
Well, I'm very, very satisfied. Judge Judy did not believe him, as you can tell.
I think it was upsetting to me due to, having hard times and not being able to, make ends meet.
He was a complete fool on national.
My account, obviously, on Cash App. I don't know if she knows what Cash App is.
All he does is lie, and he's just ridiculous.
But anyways, that's how I feel. And even if it was money's nothing but paper ink, like my grandma used to tell me.
To be honest, I really think he went out and partied with the money, which is ridiculous.
But at the same time, I do feel upset that the money's still not there.
Well, sometimes people get where they need money, and they will...
He lied. He said he didn't do it. Maybe he didn't do it. I don't know. There's another person that was on there that, that's all I have to say.
Accuse anybody of just doing something crazy like that.
Oh, no, we're not friends. We don't talk.
No, we're no longer friends. I don't need friends like that.
She needed more eyeballs on her website.
She wanted to know how much it would cost to retain my services.
You gave her a $5,000 deposit.
Then watched her money disappear.
I want to see your marketing campaign.
Do you want to see the logo that we created?
That would be a start.
You know what, Your Honor, I did not bring a copy of the logo.
Ridiculous.
This is Judge Judy. Amy Davis is suing Corey Dyer for the return of a deposit for marketing services for her beauty pageant coaching program.
Judge, this is case number. Parties have been sworn in. Sir, you may have a seat, please.
Miss Davis, you developed a website. It sounds to me as if it was sort of a mentoring website for young women who were preparing for beauty pageants, who needed some coaching. And as a former beauty pageant winner, and I understand from your complaint that you were,
yes,
you felt as if you had some qualifications to do that. The website was developed and you needed someone to help you market it, according to what I read, and you retained the defendant in order to do that. You gave her a $5,000 deposit. According to you, she did little or nothing to earn that. You want your money back. That's what the case is about. So how did you find the defendant?
The defendant found me on social media through Facebook.
Miss Dyer, tell me how you found the plaintiff.
I met Amy about 6 years ago. I was throwing a birthday party for a mutual friend, and that's how I originally met Amy. I had a client who had recently launched from his stem cell business into a medical spa. We were doing a marketing campaign where we were looking for models to actually demonstrate the services. And I reached out to her and I explained to her what we were doing. And if she was interested, that she would receive over $5,000 in both.
Was interested in modeling for this other client of yours.
Yes.
Well, how did it come about that you offered your services as a marketer to her?
That is how the doctor wanted to do it, in exchange for them coming. We had a group of where we were marketing to the masses to come in and see these services done, and so they would come in.
No, listen to me. You were offering her,
yes,
is what you're telling me, a job.
Yeah, it was.
I want to know how it came about. No. I want to know how it came about that she gave you $5,000.
Okay. So when we were finished, I was in the conference room and Amy came in and we started to talk. I wanted to find out how it went for her.
So you employed her? Your company employed her?
Yes.
Okay. And you were talking to her?
Yes.
In the conference room. That was in 2018?
Yes. It was September 27th.
Okay.
I have a picture right here of Amy that I took.
No, I don't need a picture.
Okay.
Just tell me the story.
So I was in the conference room. I asked her how it went. She said she really enjoyed it. We started to speak. She asked me what I did doing for the particular company. I explained to her what I did in marketing, and she said that she had been wanting to take her coaching program online and was needing some help. And I told her that I would love to help her. I would love to learn more people that she knew.
You mean this was all in the conference room?
Yes.
Shh. This was all in the conference room. Okay, that was after the gig. So you spoke for a while in the conference room.
Yes.
And she showed you what she was doing online, what the program was that she was doing online.
Yes, you are correct.
Okay, so
yeah, we
that
spoke
was
for a couple hours.
Nice. Okay, that's good. And what happened next?
So she wanted to know how much it would cost to retain my services. I told her for what she's looking at to do something online, it would start her probably about $10,000 to start. And she says, I don't have that much. And I said, well, I mean, it sounds like a great opportunity. I'd like to learn more, but maybe we could do some rev share. Maybe what we could have you do is pay half of that and we rev share on the profits. And she said, that sounds very interesting. And so we talked a little bit more. And as I learned more about it, I got more excited because she was showing me these other accounts.
Are you talking to me about the conversation you had with her on September 27th?
Yes.
Or were we talking about a different day? That's all
the same day, Your Honor.
September 27th?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The same day. Okay. When was the next date you saw her?
She wrote me a check out that day.
No. When was the next day you saw her?
That would have been October 1st.
Where did you see her?
She came over to our office. She brought Greg with her.
Who was Greg?
The gentleman that is with her.
Your partner?
I'm also an
down.
attorney, but I'm not Amy's attorney.
Okay, just sit. You're a friend. Okay, so she brought Greg with her, and?
She told me and Jarrell and Emily that this was her boyfriend, and she wanted him to hear and learn more.
I don't care.
Okay, that's not important.
Doesn't matter. 27th, you didn't have a meeting. You were talking.
Yes.
She came to your office on October 1st.
Yes.
She had already written a check to you for $5,000.
She had.
That she gave you on September 27th, for which you did no work. That was just a sort of beginning process.
We actually started...
Right? You hadn't done any work.
Yeah, we actually had started all the research because we were there to meet with her on the 1st to go and show her all the research we had done. And so we spent about 300...
I don't know. I want to know what you did for her between September 27th and October the 1st.
So what we did is we spent that time preparing to see her, and we had done about 360 hours of research in researching...
Ridiculous.
What she needed.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
So the research is necessary.
What I'm telling you is between September 27th, which goes into September 28th, because you want to convince me that you did 360 hours between the 28th of September and the 1st of October.
Yeah.
360 hours, because there aren't 360 hours in that period of time.
We did, well, man hours. So there was 3 of us that did it, and then man hours, that's what it took, so that when we met with Amy, we could actually see what we were looking at.
Who's 3?
Myself,
Who's 3?
Jarrell, and Emily.
Who are those 2 people?
Jarrell and Emily are my partners.
Are they your children?
They are.
Okay, so you met with her and your 2 kids.
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 55.
And how old are your children?
31, and he is an artist and a designer, and my
Just
daughter...
a second. Just one second. I'm not finished.
Okay.
He's 31.
Yes.
And he was at this meeting on October 1st.
Yes.
Was he at that meeting on October 1st?
Yes.
And your daughter, how old is she?
27, and she went to FIT and graduated in FITM and design.
And was she at the meeting on October 1st? Hello, Miss Davis?
Yes, she was at the meeting on October 1st.
So you were there, your 2 children, the plaintiff, and her friend.
Yes.
And what time was the meeting called?
What time was it called
What
for?
time was the meeting called for?
I'm going to say it was in the morning. Amy was running a little bit.
What you presented to her on October 1st as a result of the 360 man-hours that you spent on the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th. Show me what you presented to her. Okay, warranty of services.
Yeah.
What is that?
So this is basically showing her exactly line by line what we would be doing to be able to...
So this is what you say you're going to do for her. I want you to show me the product of 360 man-hours of work.
We didn't know what we were going to be able to do until we researched and looked at all the other online pageant, the people and what they were doing, what they were charging, what their volume was, how many awards they had won. We needed to have something to compare by to be able to create that marketing for her, and so that was the time that we spent.
So the bottom line is you didn't show her anything, nor can you show me anything that you product.
Well, yeah, where the product started.
360 man-hours.
Yes, so where that hit.
So show me.
So where that started.
You're a marketer.
You bet. So where that started was after our meeting with Greg and Amy. That's when we began and started to do the work. Amy had come in. She brought... Yes.
So now what you're between the 27th and the 1st, except to prepare this one-page thing of what you propose to do for her.
That would be correct.
Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, good. So now that's clear, because I was confused about the 360 hours from 2 days. That math doesn't work for me, and I'm pretty dumb in math. So after they left and you had her $5,000, that was on October 1st.
Is when they came.
When was the next time you saw Miss Davis?
So the next time I saw her from the time that we were in the...
October 1st.
It was October 1st.
Very easy.
And this is important, Judge, because this is...
Pay careful attention to me.
Yes.
My question is a direct one. We are now in August of 2020.
Yes.
I want to know, after October 1st, 2018, when was the next time you saw Miss Davis?
So the communication was there through
text messaging. That's not a so. That's not a so. No, that's not a so. That's a date.
Okay.
That's not a so.
October 2nd.
That's not a story.
October 2nd, 2018.
Where did you see her?
So she was texting us.
Where did you see her?
Well, she ghosted us after the 5th. I never saw her again after the 5th. Literally for a year, she ghosted us.
Oh, from October 1st, 2018, until the next date that you saw her.
Well, it was by phone.
And you said October 2nd.
By phone.
No, not by phone. In person. She gave you $5,000.
Never saw
her. I want to know
her.
when the next time.
Never saw her in person after October 1st. She completely ghosted us after
$5,000? That's very...
She ghosted us for a year after the 5th.
I have
that
no idea what you...
So ghosted is when they just don't show up. They don't show up to the meetings. They tell you they're late. They tell you that they have prepared their script like she did and she never prepared it. They lied and said she had all this information ready for us and we were all ready to start shooting her and filming her and she didn't show up.
So what I want you to do is show me what you did for her between October 1st, 2018 and today. What you did for her, what your marketing company did for her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today.
How much did Mr. pay you for the contents of the salon, other than forgiving you your rent?
It was the next 2 years' worth of lease.
I think I have a feeling that Bill got snookered. He got snookered by COVID, and he got snookered by you.
Paid Corey Dyer $5,000 to market her beauty pageant coaching program. Amy claims Corey barely did anything.
What I want you to do is show me what you did for her between October 1st, 2018 and today. What you did for her, what your marketing company did for her, how it prepared. Just show me. Put up one at a time.
Okay, so here's the first one. We were prepped and ready to have her come in and to start filming her. She I'm not interested in text messages. I want to see your marketing campaign. So you want to see the logo that we created? You want to see the logo that we created for? Is that specific?
That would be a start. That would be a start. Take off the texts and show me a logo that you prepared for her.
You know what, Your Honor? I did not bring a copy of the logo. I brought a copy of our conversations.
Okay. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000 for her refund. We're done here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Oh my gosh.
You can't doubt Judge Judy. I mean, as a judge, I agree that she knows what she's doing. She's been doing this for a long time.
This has been a long time coming. I'm so grateful. I feel like
I didn't come prepared. That was on my end. I didn't come prepared with the logos and the things that we did with Amy. And so that's my bad. I truly wish Amy the very best, though.
Corey Dyer and many lies.
No, she was never pleased with anything. That was the problem.
But it just definitely wasn't the match for me.
All parties in the matter of Mushka versus Hallman approach the podium.
Michelle Mushka is suing Dennis and Brenda Hallman for the return of a deposit on a beauty salon and the return of stolen property.
Well, let me start with you, Miss Hallman. How long did you and your husband own this beauty salon?
5, almost 6 years.
And do you rent the space from someone?
I do. I rent the building.
From whom?
Bill is the owner of the building.
How much rent do you pay, or did you pay?
The first year it started out at $1,500.
And what was it in 2019?
$1,750.
Were you current in your rent at the time that you sold the salon to the plaintiff?
I sold my assets to the plaintiff, and I was 4 months behind on rent.
So far, you had a broken lease, and according to what I read in the complaint, you had not maintained your filing status with the state, correct?
I had a business.
That's either a yes or a no?
Yes.
So the asset that you were selling was what?
Was all the assets that were inside the salon.
What is that?
The mirrors, the chairs, the stations.
The people that
Okay. Now,
did.
I didn't ask you anything.
I was helping her out.
I didn't ask you anything.
Thank you.
Don't help her unless I ask you a question. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
And the landlord, and I was selling the agreement from the landlord to the purchaser.
Did Bill tell you he was going to evict you if you didn't pay rent?
No, not at all.
Well, what's the reason for your not paying rent for 4 months?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why didn't you give her her money back?
She didn't ask for it back. She also stated that I doubt you have it. She said, so I want everything that you have to do with this business. She wouldn't take her money back.
What are you, crazy?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Michelle Mushka says Dennis and Brenda Hallman conned her regarding the sale of a beauty salon.
What's the reason for your not paying rent for 4 months?
I had a business partner, and she decided to fall in love with a military man, and she left the state. And so I was left to take over and pay everything on my own when she used to pay for half of everything. So I talked to the landlord.
Well, did you pay half your rent?
Yes, I did pay partial payments to Bill, and we made agreements that there was 800, there was 400, there was 200. It just depended on the week and how much I was making at the moment. My landlord was extremely
This is what
helpful.
the case is about. You agreed to sell the assets of a place that you were behind in rent on that was not a legitimate salon because the license hadn't been maintained for a couple of years. You agreed to sell that to the plaintiff for the sum of $10,000. She gave you a $5,000 deposit. We all agree that she gave you a $5,000 deposit. That's what she wants back. Now, are you back in the salon?
No, I'm not.
Well, are you not back in the salon because of COVID? You don't seem to indicate to me that you were not back to work in January.
I was back to work in January in the salon. And
January?
Then, yes.
Right. And you were back to work in February in the salon. You were back to work until they closed the salons because of COVID.
Correct.
So you took possession of what you sold her until the state of Washington State, until they closed down all the salons.
I sold my assets to the building owner, which was Bill.
Just a second. So Bill bought your salon?
He bought everything that was inside the salon.
How much did Mr. pay you for the contents of the salon, other than forgiving you your rent?
It was the next 2 years worth of lease.
As well as what?
He let me out of the contract.
And
he forgave any
and
payments.
he took, just a second, and he took possession of all the furniture. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, most of it. Mirrors, stations, roller carts.
So he took that because he knew he wasn't going to get any money from you.
No, he wanted to leave it there so that he could then, in turn, rent it out.
Well, that was a bad deal. I think I have a feeling that Bill got snookered. He got snookered by COVID, and he got snookered by you.
Not by me.
Why didn't you give her money back?
Because she told me
she gave you $5,000.
She wanted the salon. She didn't ask for it back. She also stated that I doubt you have it.
Don't say anything.
She said, so I want everything that you have to do with this business.
Sure.
She wouldn't take her money back.
Just a second. You sold it to somebody that... What are you, crazy?
I'm not crazy.
I mean, are you crazy?
I have the statement. I have her text message.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You mean so you sold what she bought to somebody else and kept her money?
This was his idea. He came to me, that he stated to me. This was his idea.
You hadn't paid rent to him then, by that time, for 5 months, and certainly weren't going to pay him for March, April, May, June, July, because all salons were closed in Washington State.
Right.
So he said, well, give me what you got. I mean, I can't get blood from a turnip, so I'm going to take over everything, and I'll let you out of your lease, and so I won't sue you for the back rent for 2 years, and goodbye and good luck. Is he a friend of yours?
The back rent was for 4 months. And
is he a friend of yours, is my question.
Not. I would say acquaintance, but not a friend. We don't have barbecues together.
He's an acquaintance. You have to give back a deposit. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done. You see, you didn't have to say a word. Goodbye.
Pardons are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
The horse's legs were bitten.
Yes.
The pit bull was the precipitating factor.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt?
No, you can't.
Next Judge Judy.
I'm thankful for her decision on this case. It's been a long time that we've had to deal with this, and I'm just thankful for it. Thank you, Judge Judy.
Divorced parents relive their breakup.
Which, if any, of the children came with you?
The 2 youngest ones.
No, all the children stay with me. There's a truth-telling problem.
So living together again was a mistake.
She did move back into the house.
Yes, ma'am. It was a tumultuous relationship.
You have 4 children, and you have 2 young ones. They're the only victims of your irresponsible behavior and hers.
This is Judge Judy. Thomas Mercer is suing his ex-wife, Jennifer Mercer, for an unpaid loan to buy a car.
Judge's case number 79 on the calendar in the matter of Mercer versus Mercer. Parties have been sworn in.
Mr. Mercer, the defendant is your former wife, and you have children together. How many?
4.
How old are they?
23, 19, 11, and 8, Your Honor.
You were married in what year, sir?
We were married in 1999.
And divorced in what year?
We separated late 2012 and divorced in 2016.
You separated in what year? I didn't hear that.
Late 2012.
And according to you, divorced in 2016.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember in what month you divorced in 2016?
I don't.
Do you remember, Ms. Mercer?
What
month in 2016?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, you do remember in what year in 2000?
I believe, I wrote it down here. I believe the month of May is when we did.
Okay, Ms. Mercer, were your 11 and 8-year-old children in school when you reconciled?
Yes.
Were they actually attending school, so it was in the winter, spring, as opposed to the summer?
I believe the summer,
you know,
yes.
When you say you reconciled in the divorce, sir, listen to me, that's not your story, that's her story. In the divorce, who got the house?
Me, Your Honor.
You did?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And where did you move, Mrs. Mercer?
I moved into an apartment.
Which, if any, of the children came with you?
I took the 2 youngest ones. The 2 oldest wanted to stay.
No. All the children stayed with me.
Just a second. Don't speak unless I'm asking you a question.
Sorry, ma'am.
Go ahead.
I took the youngest ones. They were only 1 and 3 at the time.
And the 2 older ones who were then in 2016, 15 and 18, they stayed with their father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did the judgment of divorce provide for custody, Ms. Mercer?
Yes.
Who had physical custody of the children?
Thomas was awarded physical custody.
Of all 4 children?
Yes.
Was that on consent, or was there a hearing?
We had roughly.
You mean during this 2012 to 2016 separation, there was a trial?
There was.
That took a long time?
Yes.
And during that time, where were the 2 youngest children? With you or with their father?
We were doing like a temporary order where the judge had time with me and then time with Thomas, with the kids. So it was a temporary order until it was final.
That took too long for whatever reason.
Yes, it did.
I cannot imagine what reason a trial involving young children takes 3 years. Ridiculous. All right. Now, at some point, you moved back into the house. That was in the summer of 2017?
Yes.
How long did you stay there?
A little over a year.
Until when?
Until I was told I couldn't return.
What month? What month?
It was in May.
So you were there for about a year?
Yes.
And, Mr. Mercer, this is your claim. Your claim is that in 2017 or 18, your former wife needed a car. You loaned her money for a car in which you took out a personal loan.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And in what month and year did you do that?
The loan was taken out in 2019. Your Honor, can I back up a little bit before that?
Just a second. Is what you're telling me, you're going to have to... Okay. I want you to look at them and tell me what month and year you took out the loan. You say in June 2019, I loaned her $3,500 so she could repair her car. Within 2 months, it wasn't working, and she needed another $9,000.
Yes, ma'am.
It's more money than I
5-1.
had. So let me see it. Put it up on the evidence screen. The first loan that you say was June 2019. So in May 2019, which according to your former wife is the year after she moved out, because she did move back into the house.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was in 2017 to 2018.
No, Your Honor, she lived in the house until recently.
Until recently?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to make certain. So she moved into the house in 2017, and she moved out recently in 2020.
Yes, ma'am.
And during that time, she lived together with you and the 4 children.
Yes, ma'am. It was off and on again, Your Honor. She came to me in 2017 saying she needed somewhere to stay. So we weren't necessarily reconciling at that time. She needed somewhere to stay.
Mr. Mercer, if you think you and the 4 children and the 2 of you didn't resume cohabitating, do you know what I'm referring to?
Yes, living together.
This is a PG show. Yes.
Initially,
if you think that, I think
we did, but not initially. She needed somewhere to stay. She was in a bad relationship, Your Honor, and she needed to leave that house. So she came and lived with me.
That's all right. At some point, it transitioned. Yeah, at some point it transitioned.
Yes, ma'am.
At some point it transitioned into back living as a family.
Yes, ma'am.
With your 4 children.
Yes, ma'am. It was on and off
She
again.
lived there until, Mr. Mercer and Sir, at some point, you say in 2020, she moved out. She says it was 2019. You got to get your story straight, folks.
That's what
Do you understand?
It's off and on, Your Honor.
You got to get your story straight. Yeah, I understand that.
That's the problem.
And at one point, when it was on, you took out a loan. Now, she says one of the reasons you took out a big loan is because you made some repairs to the house with some of that money. I don't really care whether you made repairs to the house or whether she bought a car. You were living together as a family with your 4 children.
Your Honor, no, it wasn't. It was a tumultuous relationship, and I don't even... The whole premise of what she said, Your Honor, was that she never leave the house. A truth-telling problem. So we were off and on again quite frequently. Between that time of being there and back.
Listen, Mr. Mercer, the only thing that I'm concerned about is with your on-again, off-again tumultuous relationship with your wife, you have 4 children and you have 2 young ones. They're the only victims of your irresponsible behavior and hers.
I agree, Your Honor.
They're the only yo-yos. Sometimes they have a mother in the house. Sometimes they don't have a mother in the house. Judge did a long hearing. You got custody of the 4 children. She took the 2 little ones, she says, to live with her early on. Then she came back, and at some point you bought a car while she was living there. And Mr. Mercer, yeah, Mr. Mercer,
she had a car.
You're not getting any money from her. You're not getting any money from her.
I'm trying to tell you, initially she had a car that was having problems. I had loaned her $3,500 for that car to be repaired first. And then from there, she got another car. And I tried to convince her to buy something of a lesser value, but no, she had to have this car. And she needed to do it, had a rebuilt title, Your Honor. So she couldn't take a traditional loan through a bank, and she had bad credit. So I took that loan. And she was going to take that car and take it to get it refinanced once it was in her possession. This is what it was supposed to be easier for her to do that. And then it would be in her name, her car, on her loan. So it was supposed to be a short thing. Mm-hmm. So then she started paying on it. She paid on it over a year. She has, right here, Your Honor, she paid out of her own account for over a year. And then once
Did she pay you any rent? Did you, just a second, stop talking a second. Did she pay you any rent when she was living there?
No, she was still paying child support, Your Honor. That's what I'm saying. This was off and on. It wasn't the happy family. There was a lot of issues. And I had the children all throughout, Your Honor.
Don't give your ex-wife any more money. She must have some serious problems. But that's not something that courts get involved with, sir.
Well, it shouldn't be my responsibility, Your Honor.
Yeah,
because
it is your responsibility. You took out the loan.
And
you took out the loan. You also were the one who had sex with her in your house with your 4 children, like you were all living together. This is not something that courts deal with. Your case is dismissed. Goodbye.
All this time.
Thank you. Case is over.
This case is completed. Parties are excused.
No, I think it's ridiculous.
I'm very thankful with the results that Judge Judy was able to see through my ex-husband.
I'm being the responsible one, so now once again I'm eating it.
It's a long, long battle I dealt with for many, many years.
Yeah, I was silly. I shouldn't have let her back in. But once again, I guess I'll pay for that.
He's upset that the relationship ended.
No more loans.
Probably never get married again.
All parties in the matter of Sarkisian versus Zamora. Step to the podium, please.
Artin Sarkisian is suing his unpaid rent and attorney fees.
Mr. Sarkisian, this is your tenant, was your tenant. You purchased a building, according to your complaint, in 2017. It was a 4-unit building, and the defendant had been a tenant there when you purchased the building. Subsequent to your purchasing the building, you created new leases with your tenants, including the defendant. So far, am I accurate?
That is accurate.
Do you have a copy of the lease that you created with Ms. Zamora?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it, please.
So here's page 1.
Okay. And who are listed as occupants of that apartment?
The occupants are David, Theodore, Andrew, Angelica, Isaiah, and Jaden.
Okay. And that's the lease that you created. And at least one of those people who were listed as the premises will also be used by the following people. Is one of those people the brother that you have an issue with now?
Correct.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I have a newborn baby, and the house is horrible.
Listen to me. If you don't like something, you move.
Right,
so
that's
you
why I
decided
did.
to move, but you ate the steak. You lived there for 9 days.
Artin Sarkissian says former tenant Adela Zamora moved out owing for rent. Adela is countersuing for poor living conditions and harassment.
Okay, so now this is what the case is about. Several years later, in October or perhaps before October, when you were on a month-to-month basis with the defendant, she gave you notice that she was going to be moving out on October the 9th. She paid her September's rent. She moved out on October 9th. Part of your lawsuit is for the 9 days that she lived there that she did not pay rent, which my rudimentary math translates into $558 if you're successful. Ms. Zamora, did you, in fact, live in the apartment for 9 days in October?
I did, yes.
Did you pay him for the 9 days in October?
I did not, but my rent was due on the 10th every month.
Well, I don't care when it was due. It was beginning October 1st, so it may have been your last day to pay, October 10th.
Yes.
So you owe him the $558
I believe I don't
for the
owe
9
him
days
it
that you...
because of the situation that the house is in. I have a newborn baby, and the house is horrible. I don't...
Listen to me.
Okay.
Listen to me. If you don't like something, but you ate the steak, you lived there for 9 days.
Yes, because I
Just
believed
like
he would
you lived
fix
there in
the
the month of
situation.
Listen, you lived there for years. You lived
Yes.
there in 17, 18, 19,
Right.
20. You owe him $558 for the 9 days you stayed there. This is the second part of your lawsuit, which is going to be dismissed. I'm telling you now, because you're not suing her for $558. You're suing her for $5,000 because you say she allowed her brother, who I assume is that person sitting next to you.
Yes.
Is that right, Ms. Zamora?
Yes.
She allowed him into the apartment, and he subsequently became a squatter. And he hasn't paid you rent. You had to get a lawyer involved to try to get him out. You couldn't get him out now. He's still living there, I assume. Is that right?
Yes, he is.
He's still living there. You can't get him out because of the COVID moratorium. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you want to put her on the line for that because she let him move in. No, you let him move in, sir,
Well,
because you put him on your lease.
But yes, Your Honor, I have text messages proving that they did move out in April of this year, and then Ms. Zamora had kicked them out because
That was my other brother, actually.
they wouldn't pay rent.
Don't interrupt him.
Okay.
Because they wouldn't pay rent.
It
so
doesn't matter to me. He was on the... You can't
she
sue
is the
him. You
signee
can't
of,
sue her.
but she's the
there.
signee of the lease. She's the one responsible. In the lease, it clearly states when you terminate the lease.
Just
Go ahead.
she terminated the lease for her.
Correct.
She owes you $558. You think that you have a cause of action against her brother? Use it.
Well, in the
Use it against her brother. She's not paying you anything other than the $558
But on
that
the
she
lease,
owes you for 9 days.
On the lease, under Section 19, upon vacating, you're supposed to take all persons and personal property with you.
Carefully listen to me. She's paying you $558. They were month to month after the 2017. Was that renewed every year?
No, it was not.
In writing?
It was just continued as month.
$558. That's your judgment. Now, just for my own information, Ms. Zamora.
Yes.
How does your brother get money for food?
So right now he gets
brother.
He gets food stamps. So CalFresh.
And how does he get money for clothes?
He was working, but since the pandemic, they cut his hours at work. So he was working.
Who was he working? Just a second. Who was he working for, Ms. Zamora?
He was working for Wingstop as a customer service representative.
For who?
Wingstop, fast food restaurant.
An office.
In the store.
And when you say they cut his hours, from what to what?
So he was getting 40 hours. They cut him maybe to like 20 to 25 a week.
And he's paid by check?
He's paid by check, yes. Bi-weekly.
Does he have any other dependents?
He does. He has his son and his wife.
Where is his wife?
His wife is at the residence that we're here about.
And what does his wife do for a living?
She does not work.
Why?
Right now, because she has to take care of a 3-year-old kid and she's pregnant.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
This is a terrible, terrible time. And the government really wanted to protect people who had lost their jobs. But if you're working, you at least make some effort to pay something towards your rent.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Artin Sarkisian says former tenant Adela Zamora moved out owing for rent. Adela is countersuing for poor living conditions and harassment.
All right, Mr. Sarkisian.
Yes.
Looks to me you're going to have to wait until there's a vaccine or until they lift that moratorium.
Correct.
You now know who he works for, and you know that he gets paid by check bi-weekly. Do you understand?
Well, according to them, he does not work.
Year and a half, and we can get proof of that.
Well, that's a year and a half. That's not years. He works there. She says he works there.
Okay. So I will file a lawsuit against him next.
File a lawsuit against him. I mean, the moratorium against eviction for non-payment of rent is really for people who lost their jobs during the pandemic or who were suffering financially during the pandemic. And it's going to have to be up to your brother to, at some point, address why he was working, and he's still working, and he's living his life. He has a wife. He has a child. He thought he had sufficient financial resources to make another child, but he doesn't pay his rent. You think that that's fair?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, it's going to have to be up to your brother. He has a wife. He has a child. He thought he had sufficient financial resources to make another child, but he doesn't pay his rent. You think that that's fair?
I don't think that
You think that that's fair?
No.
It's not a terrible time. And the government really wanted to protect people who had lost their jobs from having a whole swath of the country homeless.
Right.
But if you're working, you at least make, even if they reduce your hours, you at least make some effort to pay something towards your rent and say, listen, I'm going to give you more as soon as my hours are back up. But right now they cut my hours to whatever it is, so I'm going to pay you half the rent. I'm going to pay you a quarter of the rent. But to say, I mean, is your brother an unintelligent man?
He's not. They have like a lot of finances like that.
Just a second. So he moved in. He lives there with his wife, a 3-year-old, and bringing another baby into that apartment. Is that right?
Yes.
And your counterclaim is that the apartment was in terrible condition.
It's in very terrible condition.
And you want to be compensated for that. Well, that's dismissed. $558. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. We're done.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
We got into a disagreement and an argument over my boyfriend, the fact that they didn't like him and they didn't want him over anymore.
Did he ever do in your apartment anything unlawful?
Judge Judy. Looks like I'll be having to go after the brother next.
The police got involved because he was saying that they were trespassing, which was very incorrect.
So I went there with my contractor to change the locks, and they wouldn't get out. So when the police came, they said, this is an eviction case.
He was not trespassing. He was on the lease since 2017.
She would call me, and then 5 minutes later, call the health department. I never wanted her kicked out.
The health department, okay, there was molding in the house, no heating.